La da 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 da. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I hit 10K. Let's go. Let's go. I am doing virtual office hours inside the community, so I'm gonna have that pulled up, and if somebody comes on, I'm gonna talk to them. Sue me. But I'm gonna do live here on TikTok as well. So yeah, virtual office hours. Open the Zoom boom. Virtual office hours. Si te quieres divertir. La da 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 da. Si te quieres divertir. Hello, welcome in everybody. Join me here on the live stream. Oh, I probably... Hello, welcome in everybody. Join me here on the live stream. Oh, I probably needed it. We're doing virtual office hours right now. So I am inside the community, but I thought I'd go live here as well. And I did my little Bad Bunny dance. I hit 10K. Yay me. Boop. So. Hello, welcome in. Thank you for joining me. Happy Wednesday. I'm doing virtual office hours inside my private community, but I am also going live here on TikTok. The virtual office hours are hosted inside the community, and they are available for paid or lifetime members to join. So I don't have anybody in my room now, which is fine. I figure let's do a live at the same time anyways to celebrate the fact that I just hit 10K followers. Woo! I'm so excited. It's been a long time coming, and I'm really happy that it finally happened and I can work on getting monetized. That would be amazing, you know, to just get paid to make videos. Love that. Thank you for being here. Welcome in, Lily Medina, 1124 Academy. Welcome. Thank you for being here. The Chosen Angel, welcome. I don't yet have anybody inside my office hours in the community, so we're going to do live here on, I was about to say Facebook, live here on TikTok as well. Also today I went and protested at Mike Johnson's office, and he's not there because he is a scared little bitch who does not like to listen to his constituents, even if they're literal children. And the people that own the building where he works called us dogs, and that was really nice of him. I love that. We can talk about the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit because I do have that available in the shop. And for those of you that are using QuickBooks Online and needing that basics, you know, those basics to get started, check out the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit. I am getting hello. Gonna go ahead and pin that because this, I do have the earrings on though that are pinned here in the shop. These are some of Daniela's earrings that she sent me. I've got these amazing green ones because they match my End Jim Crow Jury's shirt, which we love. Excuse me. So Welcome. We're doing virtual office hours. I do virtual office hours inside my community on the second and fourth Wednesdays each month. So today's the second Wednesday of October. Happy spooky season. So we are talking about the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit. We're talking about anything to do with QuickBooks Online, any questions that you all might have. I just got off of a training with a new client talking about their QuickBooks and helping them get set up. They are a restaurant, and so we worked on setting up a way for them to record their restaurant sales without having to enter every single day their sales summary. I'm sharing the live out. If you could do me a favor and hold down my nose and share out the live, that would be much appreciated. Thank you for supporting. And this is the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit. It is pinned here in the TikTok shop. I also have the earrings that I'm wearing pinned here. They're from Knitting Cult Lady. She sent me these. And we're just going to be trading things back and forth apparently, because I made her a bunch of amigurumi crochet pieces for her to sell in her shop. So I'll be sending those out to her this week. In fact, that's probably what I'll do this afternoon after I get done with office hours, is I will pack up the box to send her the little Saturnita crochet amigurumi. And I'm going to send her a bunch of yarn. I have a bunch of yarn that she... Apologies. I have a bunch of yarn that she likes to use, so I'm going to send her some of that just because it was so nice of her to send me the earrings and the collar and the cuff, and I also want some more stickers too. So anyways, let's start talking about the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit. Friends, if you're just joining me, my name's Reagan. I'm the numbers witch, and I'm that QuickBooks bitch, and I teach people how to use QuickBooks Online without making them want to pull their hair out. Okay, QuickBooks Online. All of the clients that come to me feel very frustrated, feel very, kind of on the edge about the fact that QuickBooks is not user-friendly. It is not easy for the layperson to use. And I want you to know that I even have bookkeepers and accountants who hire me to do their clients' QuickBooks Online stuff because they don't even want to deal with QuickBooks Online. You want to learn, you're in the right place if you would like to learn how to do bookkeeping, if you would like to learn how to use QuickBooks Online. I have the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit pinned right here in the TikTok shop. This is the workbook that I wrote for y'all. And you also get access to the videos that help you set up and use QuickBooks Online. You're so welcome. Thank you for being here. And I teach you how to set up a bookkeeping system in QuickBooks Online, because we have to set up first, right? We have to make sure that our systems, our chart of accounts is set up correctly before we can even start using QuickBooks for our bookkeeping, right? So the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit walks you through that. It is 3 parts. Part number 1 is the setup. It is about setting up automations, setting up your chart of accounts, making sure that the categories that are useful to your business are there. The categories that you don't need to use are not there. I also help you reduce visual clutter in QuickBooks Online. If you're logging into QuickBooks and having a panic attack immediately because there are way too many options and you don't know what they mean or what they all do, that's visual clutter. When we have to look at a lot of options on a screen and there's notifications and there's pop-ups and there's just a bunch of stuff happening, it is hard for our brains to process that. That's what visual clutter means. And QuickBooks is like the #1 perpetrator, like send them straight to jail, because QuickBooks Online is very visually overwhelming. It is very visually cluttered. One of the first things that we do is get your QuickBooks set up to be less visually cluttered. So you're not logging in and having a meltdown, having a freak out every single time. You can actually log in and get your books done. Get done what you need to do in there so you can get paid, right? So you can run your business. That's the first thing that we do inside of here. Part number 1 of the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit is about that setup. It is a very important part. It's the most boring part. Like, nobody wants to focus on the setup of their QuickBooks Online. They just want it to happen. Smartinas, hi, how are you? Welcome in. I love seeing your name because it is such a cute, Instagram. It is such a cute name. Smartinas because it's S. Martinez, but Smartinas because she's smart. Anyways, Part 1 of the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit is where we talk about that setup. It's the boring part. Nobody wants to do it, but you must, okay? And the setup of your QuickBooks Online company probably will take about an hour, right? It's not a lot to ask a QuickBooks Online company. Probably will take about an hour, right? It's not a lot to ask of yourself. It just seems intimidating up front because QuickBooks Online is not user-friendly. That's all that's holding us back, is the fact that every time we log in, it just looks really cluttered. So if we can get it set up to the point, that's all that's holding us back, is the fact that every time we log in, it just looks really cluttered. So if we can get it set up to the point where it doesn't look cluttered and you don't want to have a panic attack when you log in, now we're cooking with grease, okay? Now we can actually get somewhere and get your bookkeeping done. So part 1 of the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit is about that setup. It's the most important. You better be doing it, okay? Caitlin says, if I have a negative $10 difference, but my numbers are matching with everything else, how would you go about? Probably what they said was reconciling. So I walk through in part 2 of the kit what to do when your bank account won't reconcile. So I walk through in part 2 of the kit what to do when your bank account won't reconcile. So let's go through that 5-step system right now, friend. If you have the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit workbook at home, I'm on page 14 of the kit. This is the 5-step process that I do whenever I'm troubleshooting reconciling someone's accounts. If you are trying to reconcile your bank account in QuickBooks Online and it's telling you that you have a difference between your books and QuickBooks, or I'm sorry, your books and your bank account, then we need to go investigate that. It will not let us reconcile, or we should not be forcing it to reconcile, if we have a $10 difference between our books and our bank account, okay? The acceptable amount, hi, Sin Rosa, welcome in. I recognize you from Daniela's live. Look, I have my earrings on. So cute. If we have a $10 difference, that's no good. If you have a dollar or less difference, like if you have like 30 cents off, I don't know about y'all, but I don't have time in my day to be go chasing down 30 cents, okay? Thank you. So I'm not going to go chase 30 cents. If it's a $10 difference, I'm going to go look for that. Kirby Cindy said, are your videos easy to find? Are they available via a link within your course? I said that right. Kirby Cindy, yeah. This is the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit that's pinned here. When you purchase it on the live, I need you to tap my profile picture and send me a DM with your email address, and I will invite you to the course. All of the videos are in there. I will ship you this workbook so that you can, I have like a frog in my throat, y'all, so that you can work through the exercises in the workbook, but you also have the video tutorials that I filmed for you, okay? So you only have access to them when you purchase. So if you purchase on the live, make sure to tap my profile picture and send me a DM with your email address so I can get you added, okay? Let's walk through the 5 troubleshooting steps, because somebody was in here saying that they have a $10 difference in their bank account. And if it's $10 even, that's even more suspicious, right? Usually it's like 50 bucks and some change, right? Or it might even be several $1,000s. But we want to investigate what the difference is between QuickBooks and our checking account statement. That's what reconciling is. We're comparing your QuickBooks Online to your bank statement. Kirby Cindy says, I've already purchased the course but can't find the videos. Did you receive your workbook in the mail? And if you got your workbook in the mail, I include a QR code for you to scan and access the course. Or Kirby, you can tap my profile picture and send me a DM with a code for you to scan and access the course. Or Kirby, you can tap my profile picture and send me a DM with your email address so that I can verify receipt of that you have your receipt for this, and I will make sure to get you added. Okay, so if you've not done that already, if you have and I didn't see it, I apologize. Sometimes my DM requests get a little crazy. So if I should have done that already, then that's on me. But please send me a DM and I will check after I get off of the live to make sure that if you've purchased that you have access, okay? So just tap my profile picture and send me a DM, and I will make sure to double check and include your email address so that I can verify and get you added into the course, right? So let's make sure that we get you set up, and thank you for bringing that to my attention. Just for anybody out there who has questions, perfect. If you see an email from me, whether it's like my weekly newsletter or whether it's about scheduling an appointment with me, you can just respond to any email from me. You can hit reply and it goes directly to my inbox, okay? But sometimes things fall through the cracks. And if that is what happened, then I apologize. And let's get you set up, okay, friend? Now, let's talk about what happens when you have a difference between your checking account, and let's get you set up, okay, friend? Now, let's talk about what happens when you have a difference between your checking account and your QuickBooks when you're reconciling, and the steps that I want you to go through. Ready? There are 5 steps. So steps that I want you to go through. Ready? There are 5 steps. So if you want to get a pen and paper out and write down 1 through 5, let's go through this in the order that we do for a reason. We go through this order because I'm putting like most frequent case study. It's usually this thing. And if it's not that thing, then it's this thing, okay? So they're in the order that I talk about inside the kit here for a reason. The first step that we're gonna do, and no tea, no shade, I do this all the time inside the kit here for a reason. The first step that we're gonna do, and no tea, no shade, I do this all the time, I end up putting in numbers wrong with my finkies. It happens, okay? I want you to check and then double check that you have done the data entry correct when you went to reconcile. If you are on the screen where it says there's a $10 difference, I want you to click on the button that says Edit Info to make sure that you put in the correct information from your bank statement into QuickBooks, okay? So check your data entry for the ending balance and the statement ending date. We always want to make sure we put the exact ending balance and the statement date as they appear on your bank statement. Very important, okay? Hold on just a second, y'all. I'm going to pause this real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I think I was lagging a little bit, and sometimes it helps if I just pause the live and come right back. All right, number 1, how do we reconcile? How do we troubleshoot when we can't reconcile? I had a commenter saying that they have a $10 difference in QuickBooks when they try to reconcile and they can't figure out why. Check that you put in the correct statement ending balance as it appears on your bank statement. And then make sure that you put in the correct statement ending date, again, as it appears on your bank statement. Okay, sometimes, even though most business accounts statements will end on the last day of the month, sometimes, depending on what bank you use, the last day of the month is on a weekend, and then the bank picks a different date for your statement ending date, okay? So make sure in QuickBooks, when you put in the statement ending balance and the statement ending date, that you have put exactly as it shows on your statement that you got from your bank, okay? That is number 1. Usually it is a data entry error that is such an easy, quick fix, and that might be useful for you if you're still hanging out and watching, but this is useful for everybody that gets stuck on reconciling in QuickBooks Online. We check the data entry for the ending balance and the statement ending date. That's number 1, okay? If you're writing this down, we're moving on to number 2 now. Number 2, make sure in QuickBooks that what the beginning balance says in QuickBooks is the same as the beginning balance on your actual bank statement, okay? If it's off, if the beginning balance is off, QuickBooks will tell you that. Before you even go into reconcile, they'll be like, hold on a second, something's not right, okay? So QuickBooks will tell you if something looks off, and they will bring that to your attention, like, hey, your beginning balance is off. Here's why that might be happening, okay? Verify that your opening balance in QuickBooks matches the opening balance on your bank statement. And if they don't match, that means that a transaction that you had already reconciled was changed. and it was changed with the amount, like the amount was changed. It could have been a transaction that got deleted. You could have gone in by mistake and changed the amount for whatever reason. Something got changed and it threw off the balance that you had already reconciled, okay? So that's number 2. If that is the case, QuickBooks gives you a notification that says, hey, you're trying to reconcile, your beginning balance is off. Here's why. And they will have a report that shows you what transactions were changed that are causing your bank balance to be wrong, okay? So they'll show you that report. I want you to go look at that report, see if there's anything that you might have changed around or deleted from a previous reconciliation, and investigate that. Go look at what happened. Why did you do that? Where did that transaction go? I delete transactions all the time, especially if they're just plain old wrong. I would rather delete it and re-enter it than like try and fix it and stuff. Like in my case, I'm more often than not, I'm gonna just delete stuff because I'm like, get out of here. You're not even right. So I'm gonna just put it incorrectly. So I delete transactions all the time. So this happens whenever I'm doing the books for one of my clients. I go in and delete things that are done wrong. The difference is I go in and then recategorize those transactions. I re-enter them. If you are deleting transactions that were added from the bank, like they were imported from your bank, when you delete them, they go back out to your bank feed, your bank list of pending transactions, okay? So that's a little trick, is that if a transaction was downloaded from your bank and you delete it, it just goes right back out to the pending list and you get to do it again. But you have to make sure to go do it again, otherwise your beginning balance is going to be wrong. Okay, so that is number 2. Remember, we have 5 troubleshooting steps to go through. When you can't reconcile in QuickBooks Online, we have 5 troubleshooting steps to go through in a particular order, because this is how often I see these particular things happening. This is the order that I go in whenever I'm reconciling someone's books, okay? So we talked about number 1, which is double check your data entry. Make sure that you put in the correct balance and the correct statement ending date as they appear on your bank statement. Number 2 is to check to make sure that the QuickBooks beginning balance agrees with your checking account statement beginning balance, okay? So check the beginning balance according to QuickBooks and then look at your bank statement. Is that beginning balance, or it's sometimes called balance forward or old balance, you will see if there's a discrepancy. And if so, QuickBooks will let you know that, and they will let you know what transaction was changed to cause that to be off. Okay, so those were 1 and 2. We're moving on to number 3 now. If you got your pen and pencil and paper out, make a note, number 3, or you can just purchase the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit. And not only do you get the 5 steps, but you get a video of me explaining to you inside QuickBooks Online how to do the 5 steps. Okay. So anyways, number 3, when you are reconciling, and the person in here earlier, I don't know if they left already, but it said they were off by $10. And they had gone through and like made sure that all of their transactions had been checked off. Okay. There is a filter that only shows you transactions that happened during the statement period, and they actually filter out transactions from after the statement ending date. So on the reconciliation screen, you're going to click on that filter, because sometimes in QuickBooks you might have dated something for October 1st in QuickBooks, but it actually cleared your bank statement on September 30th. So it cleared in September. When you go to reconcile in QuickBooks, if you're reconciling September, it does not show you any transactions from October. It filters those out, okay? So that filter might be on. That filter might be what's happening to where you can't even figure out what's happening. What's wrong? Why won't it reconcile? So I want you to remove the filter. That's step number 3. We're going to remove the filter so that we can see all the transactions, even the ones after the statement ending date. And then once we remove that filter, we're going to see if those transactions from after the statement were marked as cleared or are affecting our balance, because that happens sometimes. Don't ask me why, I don't know, okay? But that's number 3, okay? Number 4 of our troubleshooting steps for reconciling in QuickBooks, unselect all those transactions, okay? This is where we have to go in, and I think the commenter said that they had done this, but you have to unselect everything in QuickBooks. And then I want you to look at your bank statement and go line by line on your bank statement and check off those transactions in QuickBooks one by one. Unselecting everything in QuickBooks and then manually selecting each transaction when you see it on the bank statement, you will quickly figure out why you won't reconcile. If you are going one by one on your bank statement, you will find a transaction that's missing or that is recorded incorrectly, or maybe it's been doubled. Okay, that is what reconciling is we're comparing QuickBooks to our bank statement. All right, so that is step number 4. I know it's not fun. That's why I gave you the other reconciliation troubleshooting steps to begin with, because usually it's one of those things and it's not having to go through line by line. Okay, that's number 4. And if that doesn't help, if you get stuck or you can't find something at that point, if this is the first time, this is step number 5. This is the last step before you call me in, okay? If this is the first time that you are reconciling this account, what's probably happening is that QuickBooks has done a journal entry secretly on the back end that is causing your bank balance to be off. When you connect your bank account to QuickBooks Online, if your beginning bank balance isn't 0, if you already had money sitting in that account by the time you connected it to QuickBooks, QuickBooks does a secret journal entry that they don't tell you about, where they actually put in whatever your starting bank account balance was at the time it was connected, okay? So step number 5, I give you the step-by-step instructions in here that tell you where to go to look for this transaction. This is only if this is the first time you're reconciling. And remember, we reconcile 1 month at a time and in chronological order, okay? I don't want y'all jumping around going from July to February to November. We reconcile in chronological order 1 month at a time until you get good. Okay, listen, until you are a master reconciler, you need to go 1 month at a time. If we're working on 2024's bookkeeping, we reconcile January, and then we reconcile February, and then we reconcile March, and so on, okay? We go in chronological order. We're always starting with the oldest month, okay? Until you get good at reconciling, I don't want y'all bopping around and going all over the place and blah, blah, blah. We're not doing that, okay? Do it in the order I tell you to. I'm trying to save y'all time and your sanity, okay? Thank you. If you're new here, welcome in. My name's Reagan. I'm the numbers witch, and I'm that QuickBooks bitch. And I help my little DIY business owners learn how to use QuickBooks Online without wanting to pull their hair out, without losing it, okay? If you're a business owner who uses QuickBooks Online, but you hate logging in because it makes you want to have a panic attack, hi, Anna, welcome. If you're a QuickBooks Online user and you want to have a panic attack every time you log in there, you're in the right place, okay? Welcome in. I'm so glad to have you here. Please introduce yourself in the chat. And we're talking about the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit, all right? This is the workbook that I wrote for y'all. It has 3 parts about setting up QuickBooks, learning how to do data entry and getting it reconciled, and part 3 is about keeping up with it. Stop procrastinating. Having a system that you go in and work regularly, Anna says, I'm a business owner and just started my business and I need to set up the account. Welcome in and congratulations. We just started a business. Everybody congratulate Anna in the chat for starting a new business. I'm so proud of you and welcome. You're in the right place. What type of business do you have, friend? Yes, I shall roll out the red carpet for you for all of my new business owner baddies. What kind of business do you have? And are you using QuickBooks Online already? Are you scared to even buy a subscription because you just know that you're not gonna know what the heck is going on? Okay, so you have a nail supply store. Perfect. So this is a great example of a retail business, right? If you are selling nail supplies, you are a retail-based business. Inside the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit, I have the sample chart of accounts. It's like a little template. There is one in here for retail-based businesses, just like Anna. I also have a sample chart of accounts for a service-based business, which is kind of like what I do. I provide bookkeeping and accounting and consulting services, okay? I also sell products, obviously, because that's what I'm doing here on live, but I have a combination service and retail-based business. But if you are just selling products, and that could be food too, right? Like that could be a restaurant or a food truck. Hair salons are a good example of a combination business because you go to the salon to have services done and they're also selling you retail products before you walk out the door. They're sending you home with shampoo and conditioner and hair gel and all that, right? So hair salon is a combination business. So you're also a nail tech. Perfect. So if you're providing nail tech services, you getting people's all set up for the weekend, right? With their spooky nail sets, let me know. Why don't you go ahead and share that on the TikTok so I can see them, okay? Because I love looking at nails. I'm not necessarily a nail girly all the time, but I do love looking at other people's nail sets. So if you are doing nail sets for folks, and I'm also gonna follow you back so that I can see, because I want to see you posting, okay? I love looking. Let me look-see. So if you're doing nail services for folks and you're selling nail supplies, maybe to other nail technicians or salons, you have one of those combination business. Yes! So you have a combination business. You're doing services and you're also selling products, okay? In that case, I don't have a combination business template in here, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna go down the service business list and you're gonna highlight the things that you need. And then you're going to look at the retail business list and you're going to highlight the ones that you need on there. And then you're going to put both into your QuickBooks Online. Okay, we use the same QuickBooks company for one business, if it's one business. All right. In QuickBooks, we're also going to set up the different ways that you make money. If you are a nail technician and you sell nail supplies, we got a couple of different little income streams going on, don't we? That's what I thought, yeah. My girl over here is like, I'm making some money. I'm going to do it one way or another. I'm going to make me some money, okay. Yes. So, we have a couple different income streams going on. We need to get clear in your bookkeeping system about how it is you make money. What are people paying you for? And how do we put that information into your bookkeeping? I want you to have the most badass reports ever because I want you to be able to look at your reports in QuickBooks and be like, okay, I know exactly how much money I made on nail technician services. I know exactly how much I sold in products last month. I know how much I paid to purchase products to resell, right? So we want to be able to look at your reports and have that information be as accurate as possible, but that requires a little setup on the front end. That requires that you sit down and think about it and get clear. How do I make money? How do I spend money in my business, right? So income streams in QuickBooks, you can have as many different products and services as you want. I will never tell you you've got too much going on, because that would be the pot calling the kettle black. Okay? Because I got a lot going on over here too. Trust me. All right? Don't for me. I will never tell you that you've got too many products and services going on. You can have as many as you want. But when it comes to your income streams or your income categories, I want you to try to keep it down to 3. You can have 15 million different products. You can have 38 different nail technician services that you got classified on your little menu for your clients. But I want you to stick to 3 income streams. Number 1, I would probably have nail tech services. That's 1 income stream. For retail or selling, so if you sell wholesale to other salons, I would have an income category for wholesale, versus if you sell sets, like nail sets, without providing services to people, like if you do custom nail sets, I would probably have that separate from your wholesale, right? So if I have an income stream that is me selling wholesale to other salons or other nail techs, that I want to see separate from me selling directly to my customers. Products, maybe some cuticle oil for them to take home, some hand cream, a candle, blah, blah, blah. If you got all that kind of stuff going on, right? My retail products and my wholesale products, I want those income streams to be separate. And then I want to see what my services, like what I'm bringing in for my actual services that I'm doing for other people. I want it down to 3 because I think whenever you are zooming out and looking at your entire business operations, it's more helpful to have these kind of categories so that you can look at things from like that bird's eye view, right? We can always get more detail about how many of the hand creams you sold in September, right? But if we're taking a bigger look at our business, I don't need to see the hand cream number. I want to see total product sales. I want to see how much I sold to salons. Okay? Does that make sense? Why we want to split that up and why we want to narrow it down to 3 income categories? Again, you can have 11 different products that you sell. Because I will not sit here and be a hypocrite and tell you that you got too much going on over there. Because the police would come and be like, open up! She's in there telling people that they're selling too many products. And she herself has got so much going on. The police would come for me. Okay, good. I'm glad it makes sense. Because I like to make it relatable. I'm going to try to make it relatable and speak in terms that you can understand. But yeah, I got a lot going on too. But on the lives, we talk about the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit, one of my many things I got going on. But the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit is for my DIY business owners, okay? This is for the folks that are not accountants and bookkeepers. They don't necessarily want to be accountants and bookkeepers. I mean, some of my freelance bookkeepers do get this because they just want to know, like, well, how do you do things? And then just, here you go. This is how I do it. But this I created for my people that are business owners that are wanting to do it themselves. Maybe they don't want to pay for a bookkeeper yet. They can't afford to pay for regular bookkeeping, but they want to make sure that their numbers are accurate. They want to make sure that they're not going crazy when it comes to tax time and that their CPA is like on fire in their ass. Okay. Thoughts on Xero? It's cheaper per month. I don't have any experience with using Xero. As an accountant, I like QuickBooks Online's features for accountant users. I like that I can have access to my client's bookkeeping, and that's like a separate way that I access it. They give me some additional tools and features as an accountant user that they don't give to just a regular business admin user. So that's really nice. I like QuickBooks Online, and that's what I learned to do bookkeeping on, and it is what I use for my own business. I really like the automations and things that they can set up. I'm sure Xero has comparable automations and features. I've never taken the time to look into it because I'm happy where I am. But I'm happy where I'm at. I think Xero is a little more popular in like Canada and the UK than it is in the United States. QuickBooks Online has pretty much cornered the market for accounting software in the United States. The people that I know internationally, I know more international people that use Xero than I don't think I know anybody that uses Xero. Maybe that's a lie. I think I had somebody recently who consulted with me and they were using Xero, but they ended up not hiring me, which is fine. But it wasn't because they were using Xero. I think just at the time they weren't able to budget that in. And that's totally cool. So, hope that answers your question. But I'm not like affiliated with, I'm not affiliated with QuickBooks. They for sure don't fucking pay me to sell y'all QuickBooks, all right? That's why I'm on here selling my own products and services. I was so happy once I got the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit listed in the TikTok shop because that allows me to come on live and let you check out right here without going anywhere, right? And I also, by the way, I have the earrings that I got from Daniela on, and these are pinned here in the TikTok shop too. These are the Fringe Belief earrings. She has several different colors, and then some of them, like this one has like a square metal dangle, and some of them have like a circle. I think maybe some of them have a heart. There's ones with like multiple fringe tassels, and oh my gosh, I actually just love like petting these because they feel really nice. But I'm wearing those too, and they're pinned here in the TikTok shop. But this is my creation for all of you, is the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit. And I want to make sure that everybody knows, if you purchase the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit on live, I want you to tap my profile picture and send me a DM with your email address, okay? That way I can get you access to the videos, okay? You will get access regardless, but if you want access now, instead of waiting for me to ship your workbook to you, you need to send me a DM with your email address, okay? So I can get you added right away. And let's see, what other, I don't really have a lot of frequently asked questions about the kit other than like, who is it for? And like I was saying before, I do work with other freelance bookkeepers. I do trainings with other bookkeepers, but this is what I created for my DIY business owners that are doing their own books, and they are not bookkeepers and accountants. They're not interested in becoming a bookkeeper or an accountant, and that is totally fine. You still deserve to know how to use QuickBooks Online and to know how to do your own bookkeeping. I know there are plenty of business owners out there, because they find me and they tell me this, that there is value in knowing how to do something, knowing how to do your own bookkeeping, knowing what's going on in your business, knowing how to do these financial tasks and to stay organized. It's still important and it's still valuable. And so they want to learn how to do it themselves, even if they're like, yeah, one day I'm not going to be doing this myself. Like, I'll pay somebody else to do it. But for now, like, I want to know what's happening. And so I created the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit for those folks. Candy, thank you so much for the follow. Shout out to all my new followers. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. If you're new, I'm Reagan. I'm the numbers witch, and I'm that QuickBooks bitch. And I work with DIY business owners to do their own bookkeeping accurately and without wanting to pull their hair out, okay? We don't need to be having a panic attack every time we log into QuickBooks. That's not what we're doing here. We're making QuickBooks Online more accessible and more user-friendly. Yeah, even when they do a big silly update that nobody likes and then nobody asked for. When they have those big updates because they think that they're slick and adding in AI and changing everything around, they're going to hear it from all of us who have to log in one day and realize, oh shit, I don't know where anything is, okay? So the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit, you miss Peachtree. I hear that Peachtree is very like old school bookkeeping and accounting and stuff. I've never used Peachtree. I honestly think that that was in its heyday before my time doing bookkeeping. But if you loved it, that's great. I'm curious what you loved about Peachtree. Like, what kind of features did they have? What was your experience like using Peachtree? And we can talk about maybe finding ways to replicate those things in a different software, like QuickBooks Online, but I ain't gonna force it on anybody. I'm not forcing QuickBooks Online on anybody, because you know what? I don't get paid to do that. I don't get paid to do that. And I wouldn't take their money if they wanted me to do that anyways. If you ever see me out here shilling for QuickBooks Online and taking money from them, the only way I'm going to take money from them is when they have me as their keynote speaker for their little QuickBooks Connect conference. I missed that you can adjust something specifically for your company. You know what? This reminds me that QuickBooks Online Payroll is not my choice. I actually use QuickBooks Online Payroll for my payroll, but for my clients, I'm like, don't use QuickBooks Online Payroll. Use Gusto, use ADP. Oh, I need to write something down real quick. Hold on. Because I just had a client on a one-on-one training, and I saw that they were using ADP for their payroll, but they did not have ADP connected to their QuickBooks Online. So we need to go back and do that. And I just remembered that I needed to write that down because I saw it in passing, and I was like, oh, I better make a note that we got to go back and do that. Okay. So QuickBooks Online Payroll does not let accountants do the kind of adjustments that we used to be able to do in QuickBooks Desktop, which is really fucking annoying. And it sucks having to call someone at QuickBooks support. Nothing against those folks individually, but I'm never talking to an engineer or a developer or an accountant that knows what I'm talking about. I'm always talking to somebody that, like, I have to explain accounting and payroll to. Don't make me do that. I don't want to do that. My company is a job shop, and we make custom parts and never remake the same things. We don't use part numbers. Interesting. Yeah, and so QuickBooks Online, if you have like inventory that's parts inventory that you then assemble and sell, and you have to like take the inventory and adjust those levels to create a new product and then sell that product from the inventory, QuickBooks Online is not built for that. I had a client that tried. It did not go well. It did not go well. They ended up using something completely different for their inventory, not for their accounting. They stuck with QuickBooks for their bookkeeping, but they had to go with something else for inventory, for bundling and assembly inventory, which is where you keep an inventory of your raw materials, and then you have to like bundle and assemble the products that you sell. So it's like a two-level inventory system. My friends, QuickBooks Online is not capable of doing that. Mm-mm. And I wouldn't recommend it for someone that needed that level of inventory tracking, unfortunately. But if that was what you were using Peachtree for, then I can for sure tell you that you will not have those features in QuickBooks Online, and therefore it would not be useful to you. Eris, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. How did you get your first bookkeeping client? I started my own firm in 2022. I had been working for a bookkeeping firm for 7 years. Wait. Math. 8 years. And when I quit, I contacted a few of my clients and told them that I was starting my own firm, just to inform them that they would no longer be working with me if they stayed with the old firm. And I told them, like, I'm happy to continue working with you. I will just be doing it independently now. And I had I had two people come over with me. So that was really awesome. Yeah, and it's weird because like I never signed like a non-compete thing, and like my old boss, she like threatened to sue me, and I was just like, okay. I never signed anything, but all right, go off. The client was the one that decided to change their service provider for bookkeeping. I wasn't doing anything wrong by informing the client that I was going to be a service provider that is a different option from what they were currently using. And anyways, so that's how that worked. But all of my original kind of regular monthly bookkeeping clients were referrals. So people that know me in the community, people that I had done work for in the past that maybe weren't my client, on a regular basis, referred businesses to me because they know I know my shit and they know that I take care of my clients. And so referrals. If you are looking to build a service-based business, you need to know how to network and how to appropriately ask for referrals and to build a business with referrals. Absolutely 100%, I find clients here on TikTok who scroll past me and the algorithm just puts me in front of their face and they're like, oh, cool. 100% that does happen. But a majority of my regular long-term clients, my like lifetime ride or die people, have come from referral. People that I built relationships with, professional colleague relationships with over the years. Friends and family refer people to me. But I know how to network and I do that intentionally. And I ask people for referrals. I say, I'm actually looking for a couple of bookkeeping clients. I'd like to, build out my roster and I have space for a couple of monthly bookkeeping clients. Who do you think of whenever I tell you that? People will usually ask for referrals and they'll say, who do you know? Or do you know anybody? Do you know anybody that's looking for bookkeeping services? That's not how I ask that question. The way that I want you to ask that question, if you are looking for business through referrals, whether it's bookkeeping or not, the way that you can ask that question differently is, I'm building a bookkeeping business. I'm doing monthly bookkeeping, things like sales tax and payroll for small businesses, restaurants, hair salons, law firms, doctor's offices. Who do you think of whenever I tell you that? Like, does somebody come to mind? And do you know if they're looking for someone to help them with QuickBooks? I phrase the question like that because if you say, do you know anybody? That's too vague. It's not specific enough. But if you ask who comes to mind whenever I say I do bookkeeping with restaurants, they probably know a business owner, a restaurant owner, a food truck owner, somebody who is looking to start up a restaurant and they're selling, their pickles at the farmer's market, but they want to expand and have a restaurant or a cafe or something. If you ask the question, like, who did you think of whenever I told you that? Like, they're going to have somebody specific. This isn't then go harass that person. This is just like asking, like, I'd love an introduction just to talk to them and see if they need help with QuickBooks or if they're, looking to outsource their payroll or something like that. And usually people will be happy to introduce you to the people that they know. But sometimes it's a first tier referral, which means that they're the ones that need help. And so if I say to somebody like, I mentor bookkeepers and I really help them like get grounded, get centered while building business systems that are actually sustainable so they can grow a business. Do you know any bookkeepers that, might need a little support, a little big sister energy? And if that's the person I'm talking to, they're going to be like, well, yeah, me, dummy. So usually there's either someone specific that they think of, or it's them. And they're like, yeah, I need your freaking help. Okay. So, that is how I approach that. That is how I've gotten clients during my entire career doing bookkeeping, which is what I started doing after I graduated college. So, referrals, referrals, referrals. Here's the thing though. Many people are not confident with their skill set doing bookkeeping or doing whatever it is they're doing. And they feel like they need to convince other people that they do in fact have those skills and they know what they're talking about and that they can do a good job. Because if you are working independently as a contractor or freelancer, there's no boss over you to like vouch for you and to legitimize you, which is a very patriarchal thing, and we're not going to get into that today, but that's what having a job is about, right? Like, I work for this bank or I work for this law firm. There's a legitimacy to that versus being an independent contractor or freelancer. People could totally ask you for references and be like, can I, speak to any of your clients and just ask them what their experience has been like? Honestly, all of my clients would be fine with that, but I always ask first. I'm like, if somebody wants references, I will go to a few select clients and be like, can I provide your information? Somebody is asking for references and I know we've had a good working relationship. Would you be willing to talk to them? So there is some legitimacy to that. Like, if people are your clients and that is who you use for references. But if you're not working for a big boss or for, like if you're an employee, there's a legitimacy to the work that you do that is kind of missing whenever you don't have a big boss, right? When you're working for yourself, working independently. And that also goes into, and I'm just like on 15 different tangents, but that also goes into the fact that bookkeeping and accounting, yes, accounting, anybody can be an accountant. Anybody can be a bookkeeper. There's no licensing, there's no registration that happens. If you are a CPA, that means you had to sit for a CPA exam in your state, but you do not have to have a CPA license to be an accountant. You do not have to have a certification or a license to be a bookkeeper, at least in the state I'm in. But I don't think that's the case anywhere in the United States. Anybody could be out here just like being like, yeah, I'm a bookkeeper. So you do have to develop the trust first, which is where the referrals come in. The referrals are going to be somebody saying, I know this person, I know Reagan, I know that she knows her shit when it comes to QuickBooks. I know that she knows what she's talking about. She's an expert with this stuff. I know she's been doing this for a long time. Like, go talk to her if you need help with QuickBooks. Referrals lend you that legitimacy. They tell your potential clients, like, okay, somebody's vouching for her. How much weight does that carry? How much do I want to trust this person? By the way, because there are no licensing things for bookkeepers, if you are looking to hire a bookkeeper, it's a good idea to check references, to do a background check, to at least Google their name so that you see they haven't been arrested for, embezzlement. Hello? It'd be a good idea to make sure that they're legitimate, because there is no like requirements for education or experience or licensing or anything. Anybody could just be out here saying that they're a bookkeeper. So having references, getting referrals from people lends legitimacy to your business and your work. But I would be more than happy to submit to a background check for any client that wanted to hire me. I think people find me very trustworthy and I appreciate that, but I'm not saying to just go out and do that with anybody. Like, definitely do a little bit of sleuthing just to make sure that they're not in a headline that's like, bookkeeper embezzled $250,000 from this city municipal government, blah, blah, blah. Because that happens a lot. Do y'all know that the people that get arrested for like stealing and fraud are usually the bookkeepers that get arrested for that kind of stuff are like demographically white women in their like 50s and 60s. And it's like, well, I'm not quite there yet. Till then. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But that's like the demographics. It's like, cool. The people out here stealing money and embezzling and committing fraud and just writing themselves checks from the government bank account. It's white women. Gen X and boomer white women. Anyways, what were we talking about? So, the Bookkeeping Foundation. Listen, so yes, I am a legitimate bookkeeper. That is because of how long I've been doing this, the experience and expertise that I have doing this, working with so many clients. So yeah, I've got references. You can do background check on me and all that good jazz. One of the things that sets me apart is the fact that I can teach other people how to do bookkeeping. Instruction is a skill. Knowing how to teach is itself a skill. There is a science to it. It's called pedagogy. That is the study of how people learn and how to best teach and instruct other people. I think that that is what sets me apart from a lot of other bookkeepers, is that I can teach it. I can instruct people, whether it's one-on-one, whether it is the workbooks that I put out and sell, like the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit, the courses, the videos that I do. I think that that sets me apart because I know how to teach people the information and how to help you develop a new skill. Bookkeeping is a skill that I stand behind as something that everybody can learn how to do. Everybody can develop the skill of doing bookkeeping. You know why? Because I know that I can teach it to you, okay? So that is why I created the Bookkeeping Foundation Kit. I wanted folks to have a way to self-study and work through developing this new skill while having me in your corner. Learn it from the best, babe. I'm so humble. No, but seriously, like, you can see the reviews, you can hear from my clients and testimonials, people sharing their experience with this. It's easy to follow. It has been really helpful. They are doing their books at record speed, and it was way easier than they thought it was going to be. Like, I think I've done a pretty good job here. So, if people get stuck on stuff, though, I don't just leave them hanging out to dry. Like, you have resources and support in addition to this kit. You have ways to get ongoing support from me. So, I made sure that that is included with your purchase. You don't just buy something from me and then never see or hear from me again. I want to be there in your corner supporting you and helping you through that process. It's a process that never ends. I still learn things about bookkeeping and accounting and finances like every other day. So, anyways, let me know what y'all think. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them here on TikTok Live. Thank y'all so much for watching. I'm going to jump off of here now. And if you purchased the kit on live, I want to make sure that you know to go send me a DM with your email address so I can get you added to watch the videos. Oh, and check out the earrings in the TikTok shop too. These are the fringe belief earrings that Daniela makes, Knitting Cult Lady, and she sent them to me because I sent her some crochet goodies. If you see Saturnita in her videos, I made it, and I made a bunch more for her to sell that I'm going to be shipping out to her this week. That's all from me. Thank y'all so much for watching. I think I'm going to put this replay on YouTube because I haven't done that in a while, and this is a really good live. I feel like we had some great questions in here, some great conversations, and yeah, so I think if you missed any part of this live and you want to go back and rewatch it, I will go post it over on the Tube of Views. Hi, Lori. Welcome in. We're just wrapping up, but welcome in anyways. I will do my best to go live tomorrow and Friday. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if that happens, okay? Also, I did hit 10K. Yay! I'm so excited. Yeah, that's going to be all from me today. Thank y'all so much for joining me. Hit that follow button if you haven't already. Stick around. Yeah, I'm excited about the winter months. I love fall and winter, and this seems to be my time that I just like come out and shine. So I'm looking forward to that. But thank you so much for being here. I hope everybody has an amazing rest of their week, and that you get plenty of rest, and that you stay grounded and present, and that you call your representatives, and all the good stuff. Okay, if you have questions, obviously send me a DM. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for hanging out. Let me know if you have questions, girly pops. And when you purchase the kit on live, make sure to send me a DM with your email address so that I can get you set up inside the course. Okay? Thank y'all, and I'll hopefully be back to talk to you tomorrow. Bye.